Hi, and welcome to my video. Um, in the first one, what I'm doing is I'm using gesso through a stencil, and I'm putting it all over the scrap paper. And my stencil is, I think, a 10 by 8 or something. So I have to move it around. It's not a 12 by 12 stencil. So I have to move it around to cover the whole of the page. Then I dry it. I'm showing you how bad my Dilutions pink is. It's like a solid mass. So I'm using the pink here. And what I do is I put the paint and then try to get rid of the paint from the gessoed part because it acts as a resist. And I use the pink, the orange, and the yellow, I think. The yellow looks, or is it the pink? Sorry, the pink, the red, and the orange. And then I dry it again. And I put some white because I don't know why I put white, really. Because then I go back to, after it's dry, I go back to putting more of the dilution colors. The white is also the dilution, but I go back to putting pink and orange and red. So what I'm doing is I decided this year to try and use as much of my stash as possible. And really what I'm using here is some paper that I've had maybe for 10 years or even more. I'm not sure. I have a lot of paper that I don't like. So I thought this would be a good idea, a good way of just painting it. Would be a good way to get rid of it. I can use it as a, cut it up and use it as a journal page, send it in as painted paper in Happy Mail. So this is another one, and again I'm using dilutions, but this time I'm brayering the color on. So the first color I brayer on, sorry, it's because the sun comes straight through my window at this time of day. And then I'm using the turquoise. And then I use the lime. And I dry them and then add more layers of the same colors. Um, I don't know whether it's the yellow or the lime that I'm using, actually. I don't remember. It looks yellow here, but it could be the lime. I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks yellow. I think it's the yellow that I'm using. And then I decided that it was a bit too dark. So I add some white in some places. Now I'm using different colored inks to stamp, but you could hardly see them, so I decide to use paints. And this is a foam stamp. And this is a texture stamp. Not using the whole stamp, just bits of it. And then I brayer it over my music stamp. I'm sorry about the thing on the left side that is dangling. It's really annoying. I forgot to move my camera strap out of the way. Once it's dry, oh yeah, I also use the Punchinella with this is kiwi, I think, or yellow, I'm not sure. I use the Punchinella to stencil in some stuff. And I think I also use my credit card to make some yeah, I use the credit card to just to make some marks. And dry it. And then I cut both the papers into strips of 1 and 2 inches to make Inchies and Twinchies. And these are just photos of the papers before I cut them out. And here they are. These are the Inchies. I don't show you all the Inchies I make because it's very long otherwise. I'm showing you here some tissue paper that I have some small stamps stamped on. and I use the tissue paper, just stick it on rather than stamp on the paper, because it's bumpy with all the stuff that was added to it. When I cut the tissue paper, I like to use when I cut the tissue paper, I like to cut it with water. I use a brush and go around rather than cut it with scissors. And here I'm showing you more, putting another layer on some of them, another layer of tissue paper, of stamped tissue paper. Oops, sorry. And these are the Twinchies. Again, the same process. And again, putting another layer of tissue paper. And the next step after I dry them is, I think that's when I put the words. Yeah, I'm showing you here some of the ones that I made. I cleaned the edges and cut them, and then I used Tim Holtz, what do you call them? Rub-ons. The way I do rub-ons is not to put the whole sheet. I just cut what I want and use that. And then the last, and then I put black liner all around the edges. And now I'm using liquid pearls just to put some embellishments. I also used Inca Gold to give some, gold shine and gold and silver. And that's all I've done. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments what you think. If you want to know when I upload another video, you can subscribe. Thank you for watching. Hasta luego.